Good morning, Mindful Eating family. It's day 2 of your challenge. How was yesterday? Did you give that body extra love? I certainly hope so. Make sure to keep building on the challenges each day. So continue doing the body love, and then today we're going to incorporate rating your hunger on a hunger scale. So essentially what you're going to do is tune into your physical hunger. You're going to rate your hunger on a level of 1 to 10, with 1 being just falling on the floor starving, almost in a coma. Certainly don't want that. 10 would be Thanksgiving Day full. Don't want that either. Ideally, you want to stay somewhere between a 3 and a 7, where 3 is, I definitely need to eat. I can feel the physical hunger of, maybe some hunger cues. Maybe you have a headache. Those can be cues that you actually need to eat. And a 7 is where you're not stuffed, where you're actually content, and that can be an interesting word to work with when it comes to eating, but where you're content, you could eat a little bit more, but you feel good. You feel nourished, you feel like you've had something, but you don't feel stuffed. So that's our goal today, is to try and aim between staying all day long between a 3 and a 7. And so why do we want to do that? So there's a big difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger. So physical hunger is, like I discussed, you get the hunger sensations, you start thinking about food. You may be interested in, drinking a green juice or having a salad, having a sandwich. Physical hunger isn't anything specific. Food will generally do the trick. Now, emotional hunger is very different, and it's also called head hunger. And how you can tell and differentiate between the two is because emotional hunger, you typically want something pretty specific. Maybe pasta, maybe you're craving a pizza, maybe you want chocolate or something sweet, maybe you need chips or something salty. So if it's an emotional, if you've been triggered emotionally and you have a craving, then that's head hunger. And so you want to be able to differentiate between the two. And sometimes what can happen is there's a host of different emotions that can stimulate that, right? There can be stress, disappointment, sorrow, joy sometimes causes you to eat. So just identify those triggers that are leading you to want to eat so that you can make a healthy choice and kind of touch in with yourself and see where your hunger levels are on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, another thing is that we all emotionally eat, right? I mean, I would be lying if I sat here and said I never emotionally eat. But here's the difference. So when you are stressed, this is especially if you're stress eating or if you're craving food related to stress. When you're stressed, the autonomic nervous system kicks in. And essentially what happens then is there's a cascade of hormones going on in your body, and to cope with the stress that your body's going through, you're going to release a hormone called cortisol. Well, what cortisol does is it actually increases sugar in your bloodstream so that you can deal with the stress. And in ancient times, it was running away from a tiger, a bear, or something like that to save yourself. But now we're stressed in our cubicles, we're stressed in our office, we're stressed in our homes, we're stressed in our cars. And the last thing you want to do is eat on top of stress, because your body is dumping all that sugar into your bloodstream. And then when you're eating food, that's also increasing your sugar. So if weight loss is your goal, the last thing you want to do is eat when you're stressed. Now, I touched on weight loss just briefly because the goal of this challenge is not to lose weight. Now, it can happen for some people, but it's not the driving force behind this. Once you start eating mindfully and paying attention to why you eat, what you eat, and how you eat, along with other things that you're going to learn during your challenge, then you can identify the foods that make sense for you and stop overeating and eating when your body really needs the nutrition. And that, for some people, can cause weight loss. But today, make sure you focus on checking your hunger levels on a scale of 1 to 10, ideally staying between that 3 and that 7, and also giving that body some extra love. Okay, guys, thanks so much. I'll see you tomorrow for day 3. Bye.